One of the most notorious scandals in CSGO esports occurred 2 years ago. Then, the Akuma team was suspected of using cheats during the Major Qualifiers, the main tournament in the discipline. Despite the passage of time, none of the players were banned by Valve, yet some so-called influencers continue to tarnish the former Akuma players. Today, we have decided to put an end to this matter and investigate whether Akuma used radar hacks during the RMR event. Let's go. It all started when the relatively unknown Ukrainian team Akuma, consisting of the players Psycho, DemQQ, Sergiz, Jackie, and Sensei, surprisingly secured the third place in the Epic League Spring 2021, defeating strong contenders like Navi, Gambit, and Outsiders.
Каково это обыграть команду Нави? Ну, например, у меня телефон сейчас, он взрывается, по-моему.
During the tournament, accusations of using radar hack were aimed at the Akuma players. The essence of this cheat is that it displays enemy movement on the radar. Cheaters can see where enemies are planning to go and their current locations. Pro players who use radar hacks often run the cheat on a separate device such as a laptop, tablet, or even a phone to avoid detection during referee checks on their main gaming PC. There were several suspicious moments in Akuma's gameplay, but we will highlight 3 main ones. It's important to note that the clips were taken from Russian-speaking broadcasts since English clips were not available. The first clip is from a match point round on Overpass against OneWin. Sensei, in a 1v1 situation with the bomb planted, periodically moves his eyes at the radar.
20 хп на одного для игроков команды, для игрока. Это сенсей. Но!
Нет диффуз китов, но здесь даже...
Кто будет сильнее? Учитель кунг-фу или парень с никнеймом Трэвис?
Так, 20 секунд. Бомба дергается. Сенсей сидит. Сенсей отключил
Знаешь,
наушники.
почему сенсей сидит?
Сенсей
Потому
отключил
что...
наушники, он говорит, слушай, неважно, все, раунд не выигрывается. Друзья, это 16-12 для команды Акума. Поздравляем их с победой. Это просто невероятная игра от этих парней. Тут уже просто...
Трэвис встал и ушел.
Он прописал килл в консоль, по всей видимости.
Не, он просто встал и ушел.
The second clip is from a playoff match against Outsiders on Mirage. In the 24th round, the Akuma players initially stood as a trio on the B site. Suddenly, when VP players started rotating, Akuma trio moved to the A site together.
Да, кикер-то перетягиваются все-таки ребята из Virtus.pro.
Я думаю, они как раз-таки вот этими моликами сейчас там плюс-минус гранатами стянули.
Там на никого.
Да, и сейчас выход на пойдет. Кажется, опять же, это какие-то 3 апарты, может быть, один с ямой, что-то из этой серии. Неплохой такой раунд будет, опять же. Снайперскую винтовку можно будет в апартах оставить, как раз-таки Джейм последним идет. Сейчас Кикер тут на расчек. Все опять проверит, чтобы никаких поджимов не было. Ну и пошли, да, 3 апарта, 1 яма. Гранат еще огромное количество. 2 смока, да, 3 молика, там хаешки, флешки. В общем, под одну флешку сейчас будут вылетать на саппортов. И читают это, ребята. Ой, как неприятно сейчас может быть, если стрельба пойдет у этого калаша.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой! 19 секунд, тут молик вылетает. Сергиза отпускают, а Демк...
А его не читают, а Демку не читают. Просто здесь он сейчас спину будет минусовать. Здесь своего оппонента...
Ой, пропускает и закрывает! Демк! Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй! Как ВП проиграли раунд.
In the third, most suspicious clip, a play by Psycho in the 4th round on Dust 2 against Navi. Psycho was holding short and started shooting through the smoke. When Electronic jumped, Psycho raised his crosshair and fired directly at the jumped rifler.
20 секунд, 19 секунд, ребята, Нави, вы не знаете, куда идти, вы не знаете, что делать! Вы просто не знаете, что делать против Акумы! Просто они читают вас как открытую книгу на вашей атаке!
Сайко уже пошел с юспом давить, сбит на машине, но у Валеры будет только ничего у него не будет, то это погибель.
Once these clips gained wide attention, over 90% of esports figures labeled Akuma as cheaters. Players, coaches, analysts, and even some CEOs of clubs were convinced of their dishonest gameplay.
Personally, I think that they were cheating, like 400%.
Nevertheless, there were those who defended the Akuma roster. Torin claimed, if there wouldn't appear real evidence, there was no right to ban Akuma players.
I think it's wrong to ban some of these people because there always will be that line. There's always the benefit of the doubt, right?
Initially, teams turned to Epic esports events and the Russian Esports Federation to conduct an internal investigation. However, it turned out that professionalism was lacking in EEE and RESF. There was not even a minimal delay in the GoTV broadcasts, and standard measures for normal tournaments like recording time speaks and high-quality anti-cheat were absent. As a result, 14 out of 16 participating participating teams in the RMR, excluding Akuma and Marley in esports, who were also suspected of unfair play, wrote an open letter to Valve urging them to look into the situation. ESIC, a commission on esports ethics, also took up the situation. At that time, ESIC was considered a serious organization. If you're interested in knowing why ESIC is the most senseless esports organization, let us know in the comments. ESIC released a statement announcing that they had provided Valve with evidence of possible match fixing by Akuma.
ESIC передала непровержимые доказательства Valve по поводу подставных игр со стороны CEO, руководителя команды Akuma.
According to the commission, the CEO of Project X, the tag under which the Akuma core previously played, Oleksandr Shishko made numerous suspicious bets on matches involving the team consisting of Sergiys, Sensei, and Psycho. Mr. Shishko also placed a bet on the Akuma vs Outsiders match during the Epic League Spring 2021. Akuma won that match.
Мы готовились побольше намного, чем ставить, но с ВП было очень сложно.
The commission provided the available evidence to Valve and recommended tournament operators not invite their events to any Akuma players or any other lineups associated with Oleksandr Shishko. Later, Mr. Shishko referred to the ESIC statement as a grievance, but confirmed making the bet on Akuma's victory against VP. If you think that the Akuma players were passive in this situation, that's not the case. One of the first to comment on the situation was Sensei. He mentioned that he and his teammates had been playing together for a long time and deserved to compete on the Tier 1 scene. He referred to the moments of moving eyes at the radar as unconscious. In an attempt to clarify the situation from their side, Sergiys and Sensei appeared on the Respawn podcast. They shared how the investigation by the RESF took place. After an investigation, RESF announced that the Akuma players were clean. According to Sergiys, each of them picked up a webcam and simply moved it around their setup. The main question of the hosts and everyone following the scandal was why Sergiys and Sensei constantly looked at the radar. One of the strangest explanations was impulse from the bomb lying on the ground.
Я убиваю Деко, и там он хотел ставить бомбу. Я ухожу под хелпу, я смотрю на импульс на радаре, то есть бомба. Кто не знал, если на радаре есть импульс от бомбы, то ее никто не взял. Если пропадает импульс, то ее кто-то взял. Пользуйтесь, может пригодиться.
Even Petrick, the master of hints in CSGO, was unaware of such a CSGO mechanic. The explanation of Sensei's clutch against Travis on Overpass was also intriguing. He said, "When he was stepping, I instinctively looked at the radar."
Взглянул на радар, но он топает, и я не знаю, машинально смотрю на радар и думаю, что мне сделать. Я же понимаю, я ориентируюсь по радару, где он может бегать.
А наушники?
Ну, наушники, я думаю, он там бегает там, я думаю, как я сейчас сыграю, все.
The answer was also found regarding the odd round against Outsiders on Mirage when Sergiys suddenly moved his crosshair towards balcony. According to the player, he just heard some footsteps at one point and immediately turned to the correct position.
Я даже не слышал этот выбрик его, то есть топота какого-либо.
То есть здесь ты не слышал, но себя слышал, правильно? Просто чтобы этот вид отмести. Окей.
Norbert, a former K23 player, downloaded the demo and carefully listened to that moment. It turned out that there were no audible footsteps. The player also commented on their involvement in the match fixing. As Sergiy said, "If anything was related to 322, I would have left immediately."
Когда заходил вопрос про 322, я говорил, пацаны, если что-то такое будет, я ливну сразу же. Я никогда не буду заниматься такой дичью. Это просто неуважение себя как человека. То есть ты просто берешь и проигрываешь специально. Зачем ты играешь в эту игру тогда?
After such controversial statements, everyone was waiting for the next RMR event, which was hosted by StarLadder. The company couldn't follow ESIC's recommendations since there was no response from Valve. As a result, StarLadder allowed Akuma to compete in the tournament. StarLadder had always been considered a reputable tournament operator. They hosted CSGO Berlin Major, so everyone was confident that all necessary precautions would be taken. During the RMR event, Akuma lost all their matches and was the first team to be eliminated from the tournament. The exact reason for their decline in performance cannot be pinpointed even now. The players were unable to cheat due to increased security measures, or perhaps the heightened scrutiny affected their morale and made them nervous, among other possible reasons. On October 1st, 2021, Akuma disbanded. And before we continue, we'd like to remind you that you can support our channel financially. You can do this via Patreon or PayPal. All the details can be found in the description below this video.
Что касается самих игроков, то они уже себе подписали приговор. Если ничего такого не произойдет в плане их бана, то они обречены играть друг с другом уже до конца своей карьеры. Потому что никакая нормальная организация не возьмет ни одного игрока, и из Акумы не возьмет.
After the disbandment of Akuma, the players' fates varied. DemQQ, who had not been implicated in any suspicious moments, proved to be the most successful among them. In November 2021, he joined Bait and played there for almost a year, but without achieving significant results. Eventually, he joined a new project led by his former teammate Waro2k called Monty, where he continues to play to this day. With Monty, DemQQ qualified for the Major Championship stage, silencing all the haters who doubted his fair play.
Пожизненный этот тузник, бомж команд, который никогда в жизни ничего не добьется тут при 15-м раунде.
Sensei, Psycho, and Jackie continued to play together under the tag Run or Die, where they occasionally won various Tier 3 tournaments. When they transitioned to Iron Branch, Psycho quickly realized that he didn't perform well as a player and switched to the coach role. The story with Iron Branch was similar to Run or Die, numerous matches every day and the occasional victories in Tier 3 tournaments. In September 2022, after the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, Sensei had a test in the Russian team Entropic. Interesting fact, Hooch, the coach of the team, had been one of the main critics of Akuma, calling them cheaters in the summer of 2021.
Могу сказать так, я уверен на 100%, да? Это личное мнение, мое личное мнение. В принципе, это мнение моей команды, именно моей команды, не моей организации, моей команды, о том, что игроки команды Akuma играли нечестно.
However, Sensei's test in Entropic was not successful. In October, he, along with Jackie and Psycho, joined IKLA. There, they won their biggest trophy in their careers, the Tier 2 Tournament Forward Cup, defeating their former team Iron Branch in the grand final and earning $25,000. In February of 2023, IKLA terminated the contracts with the ex-Akuma players due to failure to achieve set goals. As of now, the players are without a team, occasionally standing in as substitutes for Ukrainian mixes and playing Face It Premium. After the disbandment, the main voice of Akuma, Sergis, played with his former teammates in 2 tournaments. They became champions at the Ukrainian Championship by UESF. Also, they reached the grand final at the European Championship in 2022, where they lost to the Macedonian team Blue Jays. After the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine and the transition of maincast to Ukrainian as the main language for the cast, Sergis regularly appeared as an analyst of CSGO tournaments. That's all for now. What do you think? Have the Akuma players proven that they didn't cheat during the RMR event? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Good game.